welcome to Lions Television. I'm your host, Nick Kurti, and today I'm joined by TCNJ's men's basketball team for the 2025-26 season. First off, just want to say thank you all for coming in to Kendall Hall for this interview. Really appreciate having you guys out here. If you want to do your introductions, and we'll jump right into it.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I'm Evan Elberg. I'm the head men's basketball coach here. Just finished my first year.
Thank you again for having us. I'm David Alexandria, Jr., captain, computer science major.
My name is Nicholas Koch. I'm a senior graduating this upcoming May, and I'm a basketball player for the College of New Jersey. I'm captain, and I'm a starter on the team.
So, Coach Elberg, it is your first year in the head coaching position. Obviously, you had some experience with this school. You were assisting with Goldsmith before he left. But now, obviously, you're onto brand new things. So, what was it like to establish yourself into this program here?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience. Dream come true job for me. You know, it's a full circle moment. I think people talk about planting seeds for flowers that you never see grow, and to be able to come back and see some of those seeds that were planted when I was here as an assistant, and to see where the program elevated to in the time I was away was really awesome to see, and it was a great moment to be able to come back and move over into Goldsmith's seat and kind of take over the responsibilities of the program.
Awesome. For both of you as players, how was it warming up to your new coach? Obviously, Goldsmith and Elberg out. How did you sort of adapt to the program?
I don't think it was really that much of an adapt, really. I feel like the transition was very smooth. You know, I feel like both coaches really made it easy for us to have an easy transition and not much of a big change overall, but just little minor tweaks here and there.
Honestly, I wasn't really expecting it before the season. Some of you guys didn't know I entered the transfer portal because I was really unsure if, this new coaching change was something I was, wanting to, be a part of. I was expecting to just get in there my senior year, win, and continue, an unforgettable run I didn't expect for us to have this year with the new coaching change. But at the end of the day, I did stick it out because it's hard to leave, the guys I made so many memories with. And Coach Elberg was just I feel like he's been there for a few years, As soon as he came in, it just felt like he didn't short anything, especially as a first-year coach. You just want to get adapted and you just want to figure things out. But I feel like he just came with that winning and dog mentality that screw whatever happened in the past. We're just going to go get it done this year. And so many kudos to him. He shouts out all the players and everything. But I think, as a new head coach for his first year, he did an incredible job, and we wouldn't have got to where we did without him.
Now, the first major game of the season, it came pretty early. You guys had Greg Grant tip-off tournament, and at the time, number 13 Wesleyan, Connecticut came in to TCNJ, and it was a crazy game. Double overtime, but eventually getting the win. So how do you feel like that sort of win, dictates the mood and the pace for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that win was huge for us. I think it really helped boost our confidence and helped. We were coming off of a tough loss at Drew on the road, and maybe a week before that Greg Grant tip-off tournament, and I think to be able to come back and beat a really good team like Wesleyan, who only lost 2 games the year before and went to the Final Four the year before and returned a decent amount, to get them in Packer was a great opportunity for us to prove that we can compete with teams that are nationally ranked, and we're right there with them. And I just think it kind of set the stage for the year that we all knew that we could do, and the potential that this group had. And I think I can't speak for the players really, but I'm sure it kind of just helped their confidence and be like, yeah, we're here and we're not going anywhere, and we can play anyone and compete with anyone in the country.
Wesleyan at the time was number 13th in the nation, and obviously with the competition we played in the past, we didn't have really like a game such like this. Probably I think all my three years here previously before that. So going to this game, I was a little nervous. Like, are we up? Can we compete with them? Can we, can we hang with the best of the best? And then obviously after the game, it just showed that we could shoot for the stars if we do anything. Beating the number 13th team in the nation, and I think they made it to the Sweet 16 this year, along with that, which means they're top 16 in the nation. So just going along with that, after that game, it just felt like we could beat anybody in the nation, and it goes to went to prove we had a pretty tough schedule going on, and we competed with most of those top teams, and obviously we got it done. We got one game done in the tournament. So
now, a bit of a side note, how does it feel? You go back to Drew, and obviously you were there before. How does it feel? You sort of lost there at your former school.
Yeah, that was a bummer, man. That one stung me up. I still think about it today, honestly. But I thought our response to that loss was really great. And I think all year long, anytime adversity hit or we were coming off of a loss, I think our group did a really good job of digging back in and getting back to what TCNJ men's basketball is all about. And we had a really resilient group, a really veteran-led group, and it really helps some of those losses or some of those setbacks not really linger and not really last. And our group did a really good job of just learning from it and using that momentum to go get better the next day in practice.
All right, awesome. Now, here's the thing. With the NJAC, it's known across the country. This is one of the most competitive conferences in D3. And you've got guys like Matt Solomon. Dude's the conference defensive player of the year. And obviously, all teams in this conference, they have all their eyes on him. How do you sort of adapt to knowing that you have like this star talent that everyone's sort of trying to beat? How do you counteract that?
Yeah, I think, Matt does most of that counteracting himself as a player and as a person. He's a really selfless leader, and his goal isn't to go into games and like, all right, tonight I want to score 25 points. Matt goes into games thinking, what can I do to help TCNJ men's basketball win? And, by having that selflessness, I think those points and those buckets come a little freer where you're not squeezing and you're not forcing it. And, he's a really unselfish player. So we're surrounding him with 3 or 4 guys on the floor that can shoot. So if he's going to get the ball in the post and they go double him, he's a really unselfish player and he's a phenomenal passer. So it's kind of pick your poison. Are you going to let Matt go one-on-one with his back to the basket, or are you going to come down and help? And then anytime I felt like there were a double team or someone came down to help him, he was always able to make the right read. So he was tough to guard down there, and he was nice to have in that second half of the year. Playing through him and getting the ball inside, I think, opened up a lot of things for us offensively.
Absolutely. Now, for all of you, Montclair State, let me set the scene. They're 20-3-0 at this point. They're number 1 in the country. They're unbeaten, and they come to Packer. Last time you played them, they beat us by 4. What changes this time with the energy, and how do you beat them by like almost 10?
Yeah. They were 24-0 when they were coming in, 1 regular season game left. The first time we went up there and played them and we lost by 4, David didn't play. So I would say that's a huge difference for us, having David on the court. But David can kind of speak more to that probably a little bit.
You want to talk about what it's like getting in for that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really kind of like put that into consideration of like they're 24-0 and all that stuff. I kind of had the mindset of like, at that time we kind of had the theme and the motto of like burn the ships, and it's kind of like do or die for us. And like since we just lost to Jersey City as well, and it was kind of like that mindset of like we have to win to even like have a chance at the NJAC championship. So really going into the game, it was really kind of a playoff game already in my mindset. So it was kind of like we must win type of mindset.
Yeah, I give all credit to Montclair State. The past 3 years here, they've had my class's jersey. For the past 3 years, they've beaten us every single time, and we're completely defeating the losses until this upcoming year. And coming in this last year, playing them and we go to their place and we lose by 4, we made a lot of mistakes that we usually don't make. So coming out of the game, it was a loss during the season, but to us, it was more of a lesson, that we can beat them and we can take care of them. And there's no one to be really feared after. I feel like nobody in the whole nation was to be feared after. For us, we felt like we could beat anybody, especially coming out of that game. Even though we lost, we learned many valuable lessons on what to apply for next time. And when they came to our house, we just applied those valuable lessons to the game. And the result was unexpected by most people from the outside, but in the TCNJ men's basketball locker room, we knew what the result should have been the first game, and we just applied it to that second game and we won. And then the third game, in the championship, we got David Alexander in the last 3 minutes, that you just can't guard him. He's unstoppable at that moment. It's just like they didn't expect that either. But we in the TCNJ locker rooms knew that David's always been this player. He's always been that guy. So for him to just go show that in the last championship game, most important game of the season, and then the second game of the season, the second game we played them, we beat them, is just expected more so for us. So.
All right, awesome. Now, Coach, it's the NJAC championship. Koch gets into foul trouble, and now he has to get out of the game. You got 3 minutes left on the clock, and you're down by 7. In that moment, how do you seize control of the game again? You control things, and you take the chip.
Yeah, obviously losing Nick in that moment wasn't ideal, right? But you know, I was tell David and Nick all year long that I think they're the best backcourt in the country. So I don't think, one, my mindset didn't waver when Nick fouled out. I don't think any of our guys' mindset wavered when Nick fouled out. We have really good players. One guy doesn't make our roster, and you know, David was able to kind of put the team on his back and take over in that NJAC final. I think he had 18 points down the stretch in the last 12 minutes of the game, had the game-winning assists, had multiple buckets late when we were down. Bullied his way to the rim, hit a step-back three, hit a step-back pull-up, and kind of just took over the game for us. So he would know more than me. I knew we were good the whole time, and I never lost the faith of our ability to go get the win no matter who was on the floor for us.
Yeah, and I was actually just about to bring up you in the championship game because obviously you were the one who fed Solomon the assist that led to that game-winning dunk that took home the championship. So how is the emotion like in that final, basically that final possession that was the do-or-die scenario for the team?
Emotion. Kind of a hard question for me to answer, to be honest with you, but like, I can tell you where my mind was at. It was kind of a tie game at that moment, so I just knew like all I had to do was give us the opportunity. So that means like no turnovers in that situation, and just driving to the basket, pass to Solomon, pass to my boy Matt, dunked it. After that, I was like, oh my gosh, we're up. All we need to do is just get a stop we win. You know, we kind of been preaching that all season during practice was like, one stop you win, and we kind of like emphasize on possessions a lot. So it's just like another normal thing that we usually do, kind of mindset. Yeah.
To all of you, you went to the NCAA tournament. You're in Virginia now, and in comes Johns Hopkins. You beat him by 1 point. What is that feeling like? You have the first win in just nationals since the 2020 season.
So it was my third time going there in the tournament. Freshman year we went to the tournament and we lost by 1, and then my sophomore year we went to the tournament and lost by 2. So just being that type, being that close games environment, and just going there and just actually being in a close game once again for the third year and actually winning it and being on the other side and having different emotions after the game was definitely great and an exciting feeling to actually unlock that. But besides that, it was really nice to just spend another day with the boys, another night with the boys.
You know, his freshman, sophomore year, my sophomore and junior year, unfortunate, you know, events that occurred during those times, and just that feeling of just, you know, knowing we're advancing and still, you know, the season of just continuing what, you know, an unforgettable season along with unforgettable people around me. It's just continuing, just, you know, in my head I'm just thinking, I want to keep this rolling as long as we can. And I know unfortunate events occurred even the next game, but super grateful for everything that's happened this past year, and I'm happy I get to enjoy it with these two and more. So.
Anything you want to add about your
I think,
first year here, you know, and then, you know, in your first season you get to go to
I feel super lucky and fortunate to take over a program that has so much success, and you know, David just alluded to it, but they had been to back-to-back NCAA tournaments, so I think having that experience in those moments was able to get us over the hump, you know, going down there and the program losing the first round the last 2 years, I think created this sense of like, we're not just happy to be here, like we're here for a reason and we want to win a NCAA tournament game. And you know, we spoke about our goals during the beginning of the year, and they were to win an NJAC and to make a run in the NCAA tournament. We didn't necessarily make our run, but we were able to go get a win, and I think it was credit to these guys of having that experience. And I thought they were really good all year long of being super comfortable in tight games, right? And late down the stretch, or when we're up a little bit or down a little bit, I think their connectivity and their energy and their belief in one another to just, we're always in the fight and we're never out of it, I think kind of helps those situations. And we were super comfortable and super calm in those moments. We're never squeezing too tight. And I think, you know, we practice some game-winning shots and pressure situations in practice that when we get into the games a little bit, you know, we've done this all year long. It's just another day for us.
I'm just gonna go with the same thing I expected before, or I said before. I have to say it's expected. You know, we came into the game knowing the scout and everything. From kudos to all the coaches, they gave us an impeccable scout on them, and just going along with that, knowing who they were, we knew we could beat them. Regardless, you know, if they breathe the same, they bleed the same. When it comes to basketball, we can take care of them. And even though it was a tougher game than we envisioned, we got the job done at the end of the day.
Now, Nick, you're all over TCNJ's record book. Just in terms of career-long stats, let me list them off. Second in points, second in assists, 15th in threes, 17th in steals, 24th in rebounds. How do you feel about your legacy here, leading so many things? When you hang up that jersey, how are you passing this legacy, this star-studded legacy of just like crazy stats all over like your name? How are you passing that down to the classes below you?
I would say we have this saying that we've had the past 4 years: just leave the jersey in a better place. And I feel like if I just go out with no regrets and do my job every single day, then I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the good job that I'm supposed to be doing as a senior or a captain. And it just goes back to all the times where, like, my freshman year, I wasn't playing much and I was unsure what my future was holding with basketball in general, or just TCNJ men's basketball. And to just look back at all these accomplishments and see what I've accomplished is just, truly grateful for. And it goes to show all the hard work I put in. And along with my teammates, pushing me every day in practice, I wouldn't be, having any of these accomplishments without them, without every day, these arguments, these scuffles, I know all these conflicts lead to better things along with the team, and there's times where we've gotten pushing and shoving and, a lot of argumentative things, but just being around these guys that can push me every day, coaches, players, him and, David and I going at it every single day is just unlike no other.
So David, every single game that you played in this season, you started, and now you're going to be a senior. So how are you leading now that we're losing 5 seniors on this team? How are you going to fill that role?
Well, I'm going to do the best of my abilities, obviously, first to say. Obviously, I know that I can't do it all by myself. I'm going to have to rely on my teammates for the help. Also, as again, we won the NJAC my freshman year, Nick's sophomore year, so I know the how do I say it in words? I know the responsibilities, I know the emotions, I know the feelings that come with winning a championship and want to take the time off, or you just want to relax, the job's finished. But in reality of things, it's I got one more year. We really want to go back to back. NJAC team hasn't really done that in I don't know how long, so to be one of the first to do that is going to be very tough and challenging. I know the mountain that we're going to have to climb, and just being very communicative with my teammates and just understanding that it's not going to be easy for the goals that we want.
Yeah, I want to just go along with that. Like I said before, I feel like Montclair State, the championship game, when I wasn't playing those last remaining minutes, I felt
trouble.
I feel like it was a little bit of a David coming out party, David running the whole show and just people understanding, figuring out all right, David, maybe David's like this on the scout, but this isn't what we've seen on the scout. David's coming back and forth, he's scoring, and that's going to be his role next year. He's going to have to step up, he's going to lead the show, he's going to do a lot for the team, and I feel like he's just going to adapt quite fine into that role. So.
Coach, it's your first season with the Lions. Did you expect any of this to happen at all? And also, how are you carrying this momentum now into next season with these guys who have tasted NJAC championship level play, NCAA tournament play? How are you carrying that along now?
Yeah, I think it was an expectation for us, and I knew that we had a group that can go win an NJAC, so am I surprised we did it? Not really. I tell these guys all the time, I'm just a small piece to the puzzle. We're going to try and put them in positions to succeed on the floor, try and give them all the answers to the test in terms of scouts, but these are the guys out here that are making the winning plays, that are knocking down shots, that are guarding, that are sacrificing their bodies. So we're going to try and put them in the best position possible, but none of it is possible without the players on our team. So, you never know if you're going to be able to get it done, but I always felt really good about the group. I always felt really good about our opportunity to go get it done, and now we got to go do it again. We returned a decent amount of guys. David will be back, Khalid will be back. We've got 2 starters coming back, and I'm excited for some of the underclassmen to step up and play some new roles for us. And our expectations are never going to change here just because of the group we have. We always want to compete for an NJAC championship, and we always want to make a run in the NCAA tournament. And as long as I'm here, those are always going to be our goals in the preseason.
Absolutely. And one last question for all of you: what's your favorite memory from this season?
I can start with just outside of basketball, just experiencing everything with not only my best friends, but just guys who I would go to war for, you know, in any given circumstance. To accomplish what we accomplished is just a side thing, you know. I'm happy we got to all, you know, we got to, but just to be able to just really look around and be like, all right, I love these guys and I want to go do unforgettable things with them is just unlike other. You know, there's so many people at home while we were still playing, watching us try to continue and try and make a run. And just what I accomplished with these guys is just, I have so much gratitude for and very grateful to be around, you know, such a group.
Definitely what Nick said, obviously, and I would say the lessons and the growth that I've achieved from this season, and also say just like after practice, after games, those locker room talks, those are probably one of the best moments that you could ever ask for as a player.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know if it's like a specific moment. I just think a big theme for us, I was proud of our guys' ability to dig in and battle through shared adversity together. And I always thought we responded really well, right? If we had a bad practice or we had a bad game, our next day in practice was amazing. So those are probably some of my favorite moments, just our guys' ability to withstand some of that adversity and stay connected and always find a way to compete and always find a way to win.
All right. Thank you guys for all this. This was a great interview. I just want to thank you all for watching and thank the team for coming out for the interview. It was great to have you guys. I will catch you all in the next one.